Perfect. Perfect.
All right, everybody, what's going on, man? What's popping? How y'all doing? Welcome to this Saturday edition of SWAC Talk. Of course, this show we cover the SWAC inside and out, and I am your tour guide around the SWAC Seawells coming at you. And today, man, we just gonna chop it up a little bit, man. Ain't gonna be nothing crazy. I'm gonna sit down and get some things off my chest, because as you move through this SWAC verse, man, sometimes you see things that get on your nerves, and you want to kind of talk about it. These things have been brewing with me for a minute, and I talk about them a lot. But you can never, you can never talk about this stuff too much. So, first off, man, welcome to the show. Thank you, thank you for rocking with me. And y'all can check out those socials there on the screen down below. Facebook is SWAC Talk, Instagram SWAC Talk, Twitter SWAC Talk 76. Also, man, we've created a Patreon account, man. You can check that out, patreon.com/SWAC Talk. We got two membership levels. We got a $3 level, which allows you to suggest topics for the show and for SWAC Talk and SWAC Smoke, and also join a members-only group chat. Just want to be able to, kick it with everybody off the air, man. We could kick rumors back and forth, stuff that you can't really put out on the air yet, but you want to send it around, that kind of thing. And then we also have a $5 a month tier that gives you everything on the first tier, but you'll also be able to join a monthly SWAC Smoke roundtable. So that's something. And then we'll also kick in some other things during the season to kind of sweeten it up a little bit more. But if you want to support the show and help us continue to grow, you can hit us up on the Patreon, patreon.com/SWAC Talk. So go ahead and check that out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, man. Thank you if you have. I definitely appreciate it. Love the love. Trying my best to get a love back. Definitely love the love. Like the video, share them, and feel free to comment, man, on your thoughts about the SWAC and how they do or don't put out information in a proper and timely manner. So let's go ahead and jump into this, man. Like I said, this ain't gonna be long. I don't really want to take a long time on this. I just wanted to get it off my chest. So I'm not gonna be here for a long time. Be here for a good time, but not for a long time. So we're gonna go ahead and get this in. Sorry. So just a little background of why I feel this way, man. I'm working on another video for tomorrow. Jackson State video, kind of similar to the videos I did for Valley and Pine Bluff. Kind of fell into a little segment about new coaches and their teams and what to expect from the upcoming season. So working on the Jackson State video, I went to JSU website, like it a lot, and was able to pull up a 2023 roster. I'm like, okay, man, this is great. I love this. When you're working on stuff like this, you want to be able to pull up a roster and see. Now, I know rosters are very fluid now with the portal and guys leaving, guys coming in. Teams are going to get anywhere between 5 and 15 new guys between now and the start of fall camp. So, of course, I know it's something that's going to change constantly. The roster that you get on game day is not necessarily going to be the roster that you get now. Now, years ago, it was, once the spring was over, you had some guys come in over the summer, but, still whatever. So I saw that. I'm like, boom, this makes my job that much easier, man. I can cross-reference stats and returning production and, the whole nine. So, hey, this is great. Let me just scroll over to GoJagSports.com and see if Southern finally put up a 2023 roster. Nah. So I'm like, okay, this is just not gonna do it for me. I feel like there is not a lot that's hard about that. I mean, obviously that's not my realm, so maybe it is harder than it looks. But I always feel like, man, certain things should be able to be done in a manner that would give your fan base some information, because that's what this stuff is all about. Having websites and things are about spreading the information to your fan base. You know what it is. We don't know what it is, and when people don't know something, people always assume the worst. And I talk to family members and everything, and they want to know what's going on with the team. I'm like, man, I can ask around. I don't feel like you need to go through back channels and insiders to get roster information, unless it's guys, like guys leaving, guys, whatever. But just general who's on the team right now, you should be able to pull that up. So with all that being said, me being me, I was like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and look through this and see what I come up with. So I said, first off, I'm gonna look through the SWAC and I'm gonna see who got a roster and who don't got one up. And then I said, well, if I'm gonna do that, then I need to kind of cross-reference that with other HBCU teams in FCS. I ain't messing with nothing D2 or nothing like that. I strictly FCS. So I'm like, well, let me check the MEAC. I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. But to really get a better idea of what this is like, let me check out the couple conferences surrounding surrounding our footprints. So I looked at Southland teams, I looked at SoCon teams, I looked at Ohio Valley teams, Tennessee State's in Ohio Valley. So that's another HBCU team. I didn't bother with the Colonial because that's not in our footprint. So I didn't really mess with that. But I probably should have, but I didn't. But so doing all of that, I came up to the conclusion that the SWAC don't really do a good job. Schools or conference website don't do a good job of disseminating information to their fan bases. Looking at the SWAC, 41% of the league, that's 5 out of 12, has a 2023 roster. Now, I'm not saying it's 100% up to date to this point. Some of them hadn't really taken a couple guys off that just left, and they haven't added some guys who just came in. But there's something to work with. And I want to salute those teams. Alabama A&M, they had a roster. Actually, they had a spring game roster that they translated over. Bama State, Bethune-Cookman. I throw a lot of shade at Bethune-Cookman for a lot of things, but they were one of the first teams I saw with a 2023 roster, and they don't even have a lot of guys. And they have a roster of FAMU always on top of this stuff, and Jackson State has always been on top of this stuff. So those are the 5 teams from the SWAC who have that kind of information out there readily accessible for their fan bases and any other curious parties like myself. Everybody else, I got varying levels of I don't even know what the word I want to use, but I have varying levels of interest, concern, or whatever, depending on the program. Valley, I always throw them a pass. They working, they are working. The coaches are definitely working, and the school has been doing a lot of good things. They haven't put out anything yet. Pine Bluff, is similar situation. Texas Southern, hit or miss. Prairie View, I was a little surprised because they have a very good roster page, with the portraits of the guys and all that stuff, nice bios and stuff. And Grambling, I was a little surprised that Grambling didn't have anything, because Grambling's been on top of their stuff, and I'm quite sure that they'll probably have one coming in the upcoming weeks. I don't think Grambling gonna be that far. Alcorn, sometimes you don't really know what you're gonna get from them on that aspect. Southern always is an issue for me because A, I'm a Southern fan, and B, Southern being one of the teams who some people feel are gonna be in contention for the West Division. You want to kind of know what's going on with the team. You want to kind of know who's there and who's not. You want to kind of have an idea, so when you start to have those discussions, you can make some factual statements. And Southern has been off on a lot of their things, man, and a lot of why I sit down and I do what I do is because I get frustrated with things that's happening at Southern. So this is one of those things, man. It really rubbed me the wrong way, and it shouldn't. Obviously this is not a major thing, but I'm that kind of person, man. I can make a mountain out of a molehill very, very easily. I don't necessarily have the best patience and tolerance. So sometimes little things will kind of put me in that zone, and that put me in that zone. So just continuing to look at my numbers, I switched over to the MEAC, and 66% of the league has their roster on the website for the 2023 season already. Now that's 4 of 6. I mean, they only have 6 teams that play football, and 4 of those 6 had one up. Only Delaware State and Morgan State, 2 teams who not necessarily on top of the football thing in general, but everybody else definitely has things up. Howard, very nice layout. Central, I pretty much expected it. South Carolina State, I was a little surprised, but they had theirs up. And Norfolk, yeah. So then I jumped over to Southland, and all 8 teams in the Southland had theirs up. So that's 100%. The SoCon was a little bit hit or miss. I thought the SoCon may have more teams have it than don't, but they basically were 55%. They had 5 out of 9, so that's almost as close to 50% as you can get. And then the OVC had 100%. Everybody had one. Tennessee State, obviously, they had one. So, like I said, this is something that, in the grand scheme of things, man, this don't mean nothing. This don't affect wins and losses. This don't affect recruiting. This don't affect. I doubt anybody is going to not be a fan of their team because they don't have a 2023 roster. But when you like me and you make big things out of little things, that's one of them things that can easily set you off. And when you have an opportunity to sit down and fuss about something, then yes, those kind of things definitely kind of touch you and make you want to put it out there. So, like I said, this was just me just kind of getting this off my chest because I sit down and I look at this stuff in our steam, bro. So I just really wanted to kind of sit down and put this on here and just get it out in the air. Of course, this will be revisited as many times as it needs to be because I made a quote. I quoted Coach. I quoted Gerald Huggins, who's a guy who does a lot of HBCU draft stuff and really in tune with that kind of stuff. And he made a statement the other day on Twitter that said, "You're not being slept on. Your school is just poor at promotion." And I wholeheartedly agree with that, man. These kind of things are simple things. I mean, obviously, if the bulk of the teams on this list have it, that means that it's not impossible to do. It's really all up to the get up and go of your SID, man, your sports information director and your athletic director. I mean, the SID, that's his job to put information out. And you're not really putting information out, then what are you doing? You know what I mean? I'm not asking for a detailed roster with 100% bios and stats and all that stuff in the spring. Now in the fall, I would love a more detailed roster. I love those kind of aspects because then you can, like, when a guy hits the portal and he enters in your school, you can go and click and find out, all kind of things. So, I don't expect that right now, but just a general, 0 to 99 list of guys, man, and just something to kind of build off of and set a framework for the season. I mean, we're in May. We're 10 Saturdays away from the MEAC SWAC Challenge. So we're not that far from the season. So, I mean, like I said, media day is in like 2 months. So it's not really that far ahead of time to have this out. I would definitely really, really, really expect for this stuff to be out by the time June gets here. In June and it's not here, then you might well just wait till August, which is like a couple months after that, because it's whatever. But I like I said, I just like being able to have information, and you can say this is me being spoiled. Hey, call it what you want. In this situation, man, I don't really care because this is how I feel. If you don't feel that way, then it's all good. We can always disagree. I mean, hell, I love to disagree. Like, life is about agreeing and disagreeing, and we all are on the same page all the time. That's boring. So, if you feel like this is not a big issue and I'm making a big deal out of it, then hey, you can feel that way. And it's all good, man. But I just wanted to sit down and put that out there, man, because like I said, I just see things like this and then they kind of touch me, and no homo. And I just kind of get crazy and get nutty. So I just wanted to put this in the atmosphere. And hey, if you feel the same way that I feel, man, that's great. If you don't, that's great too. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of Swag Talk, non-roster talk, at least not published roster talk. We're gonna talk about Jackson State and can the Tigers three-peat? That's a very big topic. This is a very polarizing team, not just because they are from Jackson State. This is a very polarizing team in the makeup of the team and the coaching staff and everything. So we're going to talk about this. I'm going to take the Soulja Rag off. I don't need it. I don't need it tomorrow. But that's going to do it for today's show, man. Y'all make sure y'all please support the Patreon account, patreon.com/SWAC Talk. Everything you need to know is right there. And with that being said, man, I'm your boy C Wells, your tour guide around the SWAC, signing out. And I will catch y'all tomorrow on another edition of SWAC Talk. Of course, this is the show we cover the SWAC inside and out. And I will catch y'all on the rebound. And we are up out of here. Peace.